Hey everybody, it's Missy again with the Hip Kit Club, and I have another layout for you today using the 2016 October kits again. And my theme for today is Halloween. So this is my picture for today. This is my daughter from a few years ago. Yes, she was the Hulk for Halloween, and if you knew her in person, you would see why she was the Hulk, because she acts just like him. And yeah, that's a whole nother story for a different day. But what I did was I went through all the kits and I picked out all the papers and all the embellishments that I thought could go with a Halloween theme or color scheme. I try not to go with my normal light girly colors, and I challenge myself to go with some blues, greens, blacks, gold, just something darker and a little more geared toward Halloween instead of light and airy, I guess you could say. So I've got a little bit of everything here: die cuts, wood veneer, some gold, stickers are going to come into the mix. Got the stencil from the color kit. I've already prepared this paper from the Gather collection on my Cameo. One of my other requirements for my layout today was to use the exclusive cut files, and so this is one of Zinnia's cut files, and I love how it looks. It's a bunch of squares and rectangles kind of interlocked to create a really cool background design, and so I thought I would use that and incorporate that into my background for my page. And I like the way it turned out on this black and white paper. I thought that it would make a really neat, kind of subtle but not too overpowering, I guess you could say, design in the background. So I'm going to use white cardstock as my background, and I thought about leaving it as is, but I wasn't quite sure at this stage what I wanted to do. It was sort of just a blank idea in my mind, and I saw this circle paper and I saw all the different green circles, so I grabbed my 1.5" circle punch and just went through and punched several circles of the lime green and the darker green, the stripes, the dots, and I somehow wanted to incorporate those into my page. And there are a bunch of different shades of green that go onto this page. And you know, I think this may be the first Halloween layout I've made that does not have orange on it. You know, that's mainly the first color I think of when I think of Halloween page, and this was a big challenge for me. When I first saw that my layout was going up on Halloween, I thought, oh my gosh, these kits are so beautiful and so fall-like. And I thought, how am I going to get a Halloween page out of this? But I think this turns out really nice, and I was very pleased to see that I was able to pull it off. And you really have to look deep into your kits, because you really can find different color schemes. You know, my page from last week was very light and airy, and this week it's dark, and it's just the complete opposite. I definitely wanted to incorporate this bright green paper that's from the Gather collection, because you know, green, black, and orange, and purple are the main colors of Halloween when I think of Halloween projects, and so I wanted to use that green. Okay, so I decided to kind of cut up the cut file, and I just cut several of the squares up, and I'm going to kind of make them a little bit tighter of layers behind the picture instead of going out all over the entire background. And I did add some tissue paper and some of that wood grain paper behind my picture for layers. And I do incorporate that wood grain color in this page as well. So once I got the squares and rectangles sort of organized behind the picture, I kind of just decided to go with a vertical design, kind of where it is now. And then kind of do my title out to the right. And so I know I want to get those circles attached, because if I move them all, I'll never get them down again in the same spot. And then so I make sure the squares don't move around. I'm just going to add little dots of glue to certain parts of it, so it's kind of one unit, and I can move it around all together without everything falling apart. So now my thought is I want to incorporate some more blue into this, because blue is not your typical Halloween color, but I've got a lot of blue embellishments that I thought would look pretty with the green. And so I'm just playing around here and tucking some of the blue elements. I'm going to use that little black scalloped piece as well. But I've got the blue tag that says hold, and then I've got that paint swatch looking gradient blue piece that I'm going to use as a layer. And so I thought, well, if I'm going to use that as a layer or as layers behind the picture, then I need some more blue on my background. And so I'm going to play around with these Prima oil pastels from the August color kit and kind of mix and match a couple of them until I get the right blue shade. And I'm kind of doing this backwards. You know, usually I tend to do my mixed media first, but since I've already got my design where I want it, that's the good thing about these pastels, is it's easy to kind of come underneath the picture, the layers, kind of like I'm doing here, and work your way out from underneath it, because I don't want to just take all this up and start doing the packaging technique or something like that. And with this cardstock, you can smudge the pastels really easily with your finger. If you add just a tiny bit of water, sometimes you don't even need water, but if you add a little dab of water on your finger, it will help the smudging process begin, and you can really just smudge, and it creates this really pretty faded look. You're not going to get, you know, harsh edges if you do the smudging. Now here I decided to get brave, and over here on the right where I have more room, I decided to add some water and just do a little bit of packaging just to kind of get some color going over here on the right, because a lot of that's going to be covered up with my title. And I like how this is, it's very subtle, how it's peeking out from behind everything. And like I said, that's the good thing about these pastels, is they're just like crayons, so you can control where it goes very easily. And they do blend very nicely, and they mix together very nicely. I did not use the two colors that came in this month's color kit because they do not go with this color scheme. I did not use, we got the Textures in Crushed Coral, and we got the Vibes in Glorious Day, and I did not use either of those colors on this page, and so I went back to the pastels here, and they worked great. And you can also use them like a wet mist here. As you can see, I scribbled some on the plastic, added some water, mixed it together, and used my brush to splatter. And so they're very versatile in that respect. And I really like that. So I'm going to start to glue some of these layers down. And I like how that looks. I like the different levels of layering going on. That's the fun thing about those big die cut packs is, you know, just because there's a word on it or a design that doesn't go with what you're doing, just use it as a layer, you know, and so it's just peeking out from behind your picture or behind another piece of paper, so you can only see a bit of it. And that always works really nicely, so you're still getting it used up. And that's what I'm doing with these little bits and pieces here. Like that tag that says hold, that really has nothing to do with my page, but I tuck it in just like that, and all you can see is the blue part, and you would never even know that it said the word hold on it. So that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. It's nice to be able to tuck those in so you don't really see the whole thing. Okay, so my title is going to be Adorable Hulk, and I'm just going to make sure it's straight here using my T-square ruler, and I'm going to use, I have not used these yet on a layout this month, those really pretty shiny gold puffy stickers. They're awesome. They're nice and big and blocky, and they make great titles. I went with sweet at first, and then I thought if I use adorable, it would probably be the same spacing wise as the word Hulk, since I'm going to use these smaller navy blue Simple Stories letters, and it worked out great. And so I changed it to adorable. And plus it gave me a chance to use a little bit more blue color when I use those Simple Stories alphas. Those little buttons and circles are from the Honey I'm Home We Are Memory Keepers ephemera pack. And, you know, buttons have nothing to do with Halloween, but the colors matched and they're circles and they kind of go with the circles I've already got going in the background. So they are going to be used. And here I am going again, watering down some of the pastels. I wanted a little bit of green going on in the background, so I'm just doing a little bit of splattering. And I have to use that ampersand, even though it really has nothing to do with this page at all, and it doesn't have anything to do with my title. It's got that green in it, and I like the pop of green that it gives, and it's the perfect little area right there for it, and so it's going to be used. Surprise, I'm adding some thread. I bet you weren't expecting that, right? Yes, I know I do this on every layout. It's become an addiction. And I'm going to use dark blue and I'm going to use green, and I'm just doing how I normally do and kind of bunch it up into little loops and stick it underneath my picture. I'm going to add a little bit of green underneath the ampersand. And I like the pops of color that it gives, and I like the way it looks messy, and just add some texture to the background. I finally got my hands on some adhesive foam. Yay! I went to Walmart and they have a pack of all kinds of colors with sticky on the back, and it was less than $5. And so I like it that it's thin. So, you know, some adhesive foam is thicker and it will raise up your picture a lot higher. But this one's pretty thin. It gives it a little bit of a raise without being too bulky or too high. And so yeah, and it's sticky on one side, so can't beat that. Now these are just little phrase stickers, word stickers that I'm going to add here and there, mainly because of either what they say or because they're the right color. And then these are the Simple Stories clear stickers. I'm going to add in a few of those just because of, like I said, of what they say and because they look cute on white cardstock. I think one says love this, one says this is it, love this moment, and that says hello. Okay, so I did some stitching, and that's with green thread, a little bit of zigzag and straight stitching, and then I came in with some of the blue and did a little bit of accent stitching as well. These are a couple of little bits and pieces from the Simple Stories chipboard sheet. And I'm going to give them an extra coat of glue just to make sure they stick because of the oil pastel. Sometimes when you use mixed media products, stickers and things like that just don't stick on their own very well. And this is a little clear sticker that says follow your own arrow, I think is what it says, something like that. And I like that because my daughter definitely marches to the beat of her own drum. She's not your typical girl, I guess you could say, and so that suited her really well. These are some of the beautiful gold rub-ons. I'm going to use that Love You, and I just cut it up and put one at the top and one at the bottom, and those go on so smoothly, very nice. Gonna add a couple more of these little buttons, and these are stickers from that We Are Memory Keepers sticker sheet. And then the last thing I'm going to do is add in some journaling and some black splatters, and that is going to wrap it up, I believe. Yep, there's the final page. I did add some gold enamel dots and add the date. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching this. It was really fun. I enjoyed doing something out of my comfort zone and using some colors that I hadn't used together in a very long time, especially with my hip kits. And so let me know if you have any questions about any of this, any of the kits or any of the techniques, anything at all. It was really fun to put together. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.